Greetings and welcome back to another British Family Reacts video. And it's another Lawrence Brown from Lost in the Pond, and today's video is entitled 6 Things I Can Now Legally Do as a US Citizen. Now, the first thing that kind of pops into my mind would be vote, be able to vote. I'm not sure what else though. I'm sure there's lots of things. Oh, well, there's 6 things, obviously. Let me know in the comments below if you've got any more ideas and suggestions for what Lawrence can now do as a US citizen. I'm Mr. H, and you are my friends, and my family and I are obsessed with the US, and we're on a journey to learn all we can about your amazing country. If you're new to the channel and that sounds good, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified every time we upload a new video. I bloody love you. Before we get into it, if you can drop a like on this video, we would really appreciate it. Right, that's enough of my peddling. Now let's get on with the video.
Hello and Happy New Year to my fellow Americans. I've always wanted to say that. And to my fellow Brits and people around the world, and cats apparently. This is the first video of the new year, and it's the first time that I've entered a new year being a citizen of more than one country.
Wow.
In case you missed my December special, which I will link to at the end of this video, I am now a citizen of the United States of America. And it got me thinking, how does that really change my life, except for the fact that I'll now cry at the end of the film Independence Day? Well, it turns out that it actually changes my life in several big ways.
Okay.
During the last 14 years in which I resided here legally as a lawful permanent resident, I was for the most part able to live my life quite freely. However, there were some restrictions. And in this video,
Well, I guess that he could enlist in the armed forces. Is that right? That was another one.
I'm going to talk about how those restrictions no longer apply to my life since becoming a United States citizen. Now, if you're watching this and you don't have a clue who I am, but you like the cut of my jib and think, ooh, maybe I should subscribe, do that now. Number 1.
Oh yeah, run for office. Arnold Schwarzenegger ran for office as well. So yeah, obviously not US born.
This should fill you with absolute dread. I can now run for political office. Let me clarify that. I can run for most political offices, including senator, although there is the caveat with that I have to have been a citizen for 9 years. So you're going to have to wait till the 2030s until you can vote for me. But I can also run for governor of Illinois, and there are no terms on how long I have to have been a citizen for that. That does vary by state, but Illinois' laws are thus, so I could run today. I should point out, I have no ambition to run for office. I'd rather run away from office, and that's probably...
I reckon he'd do a really good job.
Probably what I'll do, and that's definitely true of the presidency, because that's one of the rare jobs in which you not only have to be a US citizen, but you have to be a US born citizen. So the only way I'm going to achieve it is by being cast in Independence Day 3, which frankly is a dream. Actually, this...
Well, for the CIA, I didn't even think about that. I did say special forces earlier, but I was thinking more like military. CIA.
One might scare you more. I can now legally work for the CIA. I could be doing intelligence missions in, well, Britain or just overseas, because by law the CIA can't employ non-US citizens. You don't have to have been born here, you just have to have US citizenship. And this is actually true of most federal government jobs. Right? I actually did a search online for jobs for which you have to be a US citizen. There's a surprising amount of them. Social Security Administration, the Library of Congress, the FBI. I could be Fox Mulder from the X-Files. People have often said I look like a young David Duchovny, and they wouldn't lie to me. So there it is. If I ever get bored of my job as a YouTube sensation, how could I? Then I could take up a position as the head of the FBI.
Unrestricted travel. Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah, if you've got a green card, you can't be out of the country for X amount of time, is that right?
I can now leave the country without restrictions. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but when I was just a permanent lawful resident, I was prohibited by law from leaving the country for more than 6 months at a time. If I did that, I'd lose my green card and wouldn't be allowed back into the country to live and work. That no longer exists in my life. I can leave the country for however long I want. I could go on that year-long trip to Uzbekistan, because as you've seen, I'm clearly trying to get my citizenship in all of the EU countries, so why not there next? Uruguay in 2035, by which time I'll be a senator in Illinois. I could do all of that and then just return to the United States unimpeded and go about my business as I did prior to leaving. It's a small thing, admittedly. I'm not the sort of person that leaves the country for more than half a year at a time, but it is good to know that I'll be treated the same way at customs as my wife. I included this one because the knowledge that I'm about to impart might be more useful to other people than it is to me. But if I happen to have children that were under the age of 18 who are also permanent lawful residents, they would automatically become US citizens by virtue of the fact that I've just become a US citizen.
So my sister and their family had my nephew, Bobby. Bobby, if you're watching, I love you. And yes, he was born in the US and he has, well, it's still dual nationality. But yes, he's a US citizen as well.
Come to think of it, my wife is already a US citizen, so they probably would have beaten me to the punch. But as you can see, I have a cat, so we're going to have to look up the laws around animals and whether they adopt human citizenship of countries. What do you think, Kafka? Kafka? You don't care.
Oh, jury duty. I did not even think about that.
Yes, this is where the real cause for celebration comes in. I can now legally attend jury duty. I'm not that excited about it, to be honest. And in fact, it's not just that I can now legally attend jury duty, I am in fact legally required to do so. And the funny thing about that is I've lived on this planet for over 40 years and I've never ever once attended jury duty in either country.
Very similar. In the UK, I'm coming up 45. I've never done jury service, ever.
However, I have been summoned on 2 occasions. 14 years ago, shortly after moving to this country, I received a letter from the British authorities saying that I needed to attend jury duty in my hometown of Grimsby. But because I lived overseas, I was exempt from doing so, and we all partied the night away. A few months later, I received a similar letter from Indiana authorities saying that Lawrence Brown, you have been chosen to attend jury duty here in the state of Indiana. I don't know all of the specifics. What I do remember is I wasn't eligible. I had to write back to them and tell them, ooh, whoever filed my case wasn't very detail-oriented. I was much nicer than that. Because I'm not a US citizen. You need to be a US citizen in order to be considered for jury duty in the United States. So I got a reprieve and still haven't had to do it. Somebody joked the other day, knowing how this goes, that I'll probably receive that notice before I even receive my US passport. And fine. If I have to be a juror on a case and make a decision about that case, you can rest easy with the knowledge that I used to play the game Clue a lot, so I'm good at working things out. Probably the candlestick in some room or other involving a person who has a colour for a last name. I realise that I do. Could get awkward. And finally, as a direct consequence of becoming a citizen of the United States of America, I am now eligible to vote. And I'm not just talking about those Twitter polls from my wife's cousin Chad, I'm talking about actual US elections. And I know what you're thinking, ooh, Lawrence, you've always been able to vote in the midterms and local elections, right? Wrong. Even as a lawful permanent resident green card holder who paid his taxes and occasionally ate at White Castle, I was prohibited from voting in almost all US elections. And now that those restrictions don't exist, it is my solemn duty not only to register to vote, but to turn up at a voting machine and vote the heck out of it, if that doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? This is especially important ahead of my inevitable run in the 2034 midterms. And so there's just a selection of the things that I can now legally do as a citizen of the United States. And I want to thank you all for the hundreds and thousands of congratulatory messages that came my way during and after my previous video in which I announced my citizenship.
I don't know about you, but I am so happy for Lawrence. I mean, he's such a lovely guy, and I bet you guys are really proud he's now a US citizen. If you've had any similar experiences, are you living in the US and you've immigrated across and went through the same procedure? Let me know in the comments below. And if you did enjoy that video, please drop a like. It really, really helps us out. We appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, joining this amazing community as we delve into all things USA. I bloody love you. You have to believe me because it says it on my top. Check out the merch store. Links in the pinned comments. And all it leaves me to say is take care, God bless, and see y'all in the next video.